Hello, friends. A question bubbles up with the river's ripple. When did people stop moving and start belonging? For generations, the Vedic tribes had roamed. They followed cattle, the stars, the whispers of winds across open plains. Identity was tied to kin, clans, lineages, ancestral fire. But slowly, something began to change. Feet that once wandered began to settle. Spears that once guarded herds now defended territory. And thus emerged a new concept, powerful and permanent: the Janapad. Literally, the place where a people set their feet. We're not just talking about villages or regions. Janapadas were a revolution in thinking, from tribe to territory. From we are who we descend from to we are where we live. These early polities grew as clans coalesced, sometimes through alliance, sometimes through conflict. A chieftain might begin by ruling a small stretch of land. Soon, with strategic marriages or victorious battles, he'd control a broader region. Each Janapada took its name from its dominant tribe: Kuru, Panchala, Matsya, Videha, Kashi, and many more. But what made a Janapad more than just a big village? First, there was land consciousness. Fields were now inherited, taxed, and measured. Water sources were regulated. Settlements were mapped and named, not just by nature, but by human decision. Second, administration evolved. No longer just councils of elders or clan chiefs debating over fire. Now, there were courts, scribes, tax collectors. Some Janapadas had assemblies of warriors, sabhas. Others leaned on hereditary monarchies with polished rituals and hardened armies. Third, wars. The age of cattle raids was not over, but something more systematic began. Conflicts now were not just for vengeance or honor, but for land, tribute, and borders. Forts appeared. Armies professionalized. Territories were not merely defended, they were expanded. And culture? It flourished. With settled life came arts, education, and complex rituals. Brahmanas found powerful patrons. Vedic schools anchored themselves near royal courts. Stories were written, recited, remembered. Some Janapadas developed unique dialects, customs, and even early urban centers. Life was no longer just tribal, it was territorially rooted. Still, these Janapadas were not equal. Some, like Kuru and Panchala, held enormous sway. Others, like Matsya or Surasena, struggled for relevance. And among them all, one crucial shift had begun: the merging of power with place. A warrior was no longer just brave, he was from somewhere. A ruler didn't just inherit a name, he ruled over land with roads, villages, granaries, and people who paid him homage. But even as Janapadas stabilized, the earth beneath them trembled. From the edges of the plains, larger forces were gathering. Ambitious kings with sharper visions, stronger cities, smarter administrations. These were not mere Janapadas, they were Mahajanapadas, the great realms. 16 of them, rising like tectonic plates. Among them, Magadha, with its iron-rich soil and strategic rivers. Kosala, heir to ancient traditions but fiercely independent. Avanti, the pulse of the western lands. And Vatsa, bubbling with trade and cosmopolitan spirit. They would change everything. Next time, we follow the tremors and meet the giants. Coming up, 16 Mahajanapadas rise, new powers like Magadha, Kosala, Avanti, and more, because the age of Janapadas had set the stage. Now, the curtain rises.